Ever heard of a 12-year-old chess grandmaster?
Can't say I have.
Well, there is one.
Wow.
Yeah, Gukesh D became one back in 2019.
Wow, that's young.
He was born in 2006, actually, in Chennai, India.
So still a teenager then.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But his rise to fame has been incredible. Just amazing.
I bet.
And that's what we're going to dive into today. His story.
Sounds fascinating.
And it's not just about chess, really.
It's not.
It's about drive, resilience. You know, maybe even a few lessons we can all learn from his journey. So you ready to dig in?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, so from what I've gathered, Gukesh was drawn to chess at a super young age.
I've heard that's common with a lot of these prodigies.
Yeah, and his parents, thankfully, they recognized his potential right away.
Smart move.
And they got him set up with top-tier coaching early on.
Which makes a huge difference, I'd imagine.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can have all the talent in the world, but without the right guidance, it might just, fizzle out.
Right, like a seed without water. Needs nurturing.
Exactly. And Gukesh's story really highlights that, how important the environment is for nurturing potential.
Couldn't agree more.
But okay, back to Gukesh. So at just 12 years and 7 months old, he achieves the grandmaster title.
Hold on, 12.
12, making him the second youngest in history.
That's almost unbelievable. What does that even mean in the chess world, achieving that at 12?
I mean, it's got to be huge, right?
It's monumental. It's
Yeah.
not just talent. It's an incredibly deep understanding of, everything. The games, complexities, strategy, you name it.
To reach that level of mastery so young.
It's almost unheard of. Most people, they don't even come close to that kind of strategic thinking until much later.
And what's really wild is he didn't just stop there. This wasn't a one-hit wonder.
Oh, he kept going.
Oh, yeah. Went on to win bronze in the World Youth Chess Championship. Then completely dominated the Asian Youth Chess Championship.
Wow.
And then he started making a name for himself in the European tournaments.
So this is consistent winning we're talking about.
Consistently proving himself, against tougher and tougher competition.
That's a real sign of, something special. You don't see that often. It's like
he can adapt.
more than adapt.
Yeah.
Excel. No matter who he's up against. Not just one style he relies on. He adjusts. Constantly evolving. Refining his strategies.
That's incredible. It's like he's, got this instinct for the game.
Instinct,
Yeah.
for sure. But he backs it up with work. Serious work.
Right. And on top of all that natural talent, get this, he's got a photographic memory.
No way.
Seriously.
Seriously, how does that even work in a match? I mean, you got to tell me.
It's a game changer. Literally. Think about it. Strategy. Anticipating your opponent's every move.
Right.
He can recall past games instantly. Analyze board positions in seconds?
Yeah.
And calculate moves ahead. Way ahead with crazy accuracy.
That's mind-blowing. I can't even remember what I had for breakfast. But from what I've read, Gukesh, he doesn't just rely on his memory or talent.
Oh, there's more. He spends hours studying the strategies of other grandmasters.
Of course he does.
He's got all these gifts, and he's still putting in the work.
It's what separates the good from the great, honestly. He gets that. Even with natural ability, there's always room to grow, always something new to learn. It's a good lesson for any of us, actually.
So true. But here's where things get really interesting. At 12 years old, Gukesh is facing pressure and scrutiny most of us will never know.
I can only imagine. The world of competitive chess, especially for someone so young.
It's got to be intense.
It is. The expectations, the stakes, it all feels incredibly, weighty. How he handles all that, that'll be a major factor in how his career goes, for sure.
And it's not just the normal competition pressure either.
What do you mean?
He's a prodigy. And that comes with its own unique challenges. I'm actually curious, what are those challenges and how do most prodigies even cope with them?
Well, one of the biggest is finding that balance. Pushing their limits, but also not burning out.
Makes sense.
It's easy to get caught up in the early success, and push too hard. And that can lead to, exhaustion, even losing that passion for the game.
It's like a double-edged sword almost, right? What makes them special could also hurt them.
Exactly. It's a tightrope walk.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen, Gukesh, he's handling it all with remarkable composure. It's really something. Seems very level-headed, for someone his age. Focused on his goals, lets his playing do the talking, doesn't get caught up in all the hype.
Right, which is, you see that in a lot of the articles we've gathered. He stayed pretty grounded despite all the attention.
Exactly. And speaking of grounded, there was something in one of the articles that really surprised me.
Oh, what's that?
When Gukesh isn't playing chess, he loves...
Let me guess. Something strategic, like, I don't know, building robots? Or those super complex board games?
Nope. Not even close.
Okay, now I'm really curious.
He loves listening to music.
Music.
I know, right? Total curveball. You'd think someone like him, with that analytical mind, would be into, I don't know, something a bit more...
intense.
Yeah. But it just goes to show, even the most brilliant minds, they need a break. Something to disconnect with.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's a good reminder for all of us, right? To find those things that help us relax, bring us joy.
Absolutely. It's easy to get so focused on our goals or ambitions that we forget to just take care of ourselves, nurture our minds.
I think that's a really important takeaway, actually. But let's get back to chess for a bit. Gukesh's journey, it hasn't all been smooth sailing,
Oh, of course not. Everyone faces setbacks.
He's had losses, tournaments that didn't go his way. In fact, one of the sources you shared, it talks about a particularly tough loss early on in his career.
Ah, that one.
High-stakes match, the pressure must have been immense.
It was. And you know what, that loss, it was actually a turning point for him.
Really?
Forced him to confront some weaknesses in his game, particularly his endgame strategies. Easy to get discouraged, right? But he didn't. He used it as a learning opportunity. Doubled down on his training, analyzed his mistakes, refined his whole approach.
Another example of that resilience, huh?
Exactly. And that's what's so impressive about him. He doesn't shy away from his weaknesses. He embraces them, puts in the work. It's inspiring, honestly.
It is. It's like he's constantly pushing himself, getting better. Even with the setbacks, though, Gukesh has still achieved some incredible things.
Oh, absolutely. Like breaking into the world's top 100 players list.
Exactly. I mean, phenomenal for someone his age.
It really is. And it speaks to his potential. If he keeps this up, who knows what he could achieve.
I mean, there's a lot of buzz about him possibly becoming world champion someday.
Rightfully so. It's definitely possible. I mean, he's got all the ingredients: natural talent, strong work ethic, a supportive environment, and that ability to, learn and adapt.
But the road to world champion, it's got to be tough.
It is. Long, arduous, full of challenges, setbacks, moments of doubt even.
And how he handles all that, that's what will determine how far he goes.
Precisely. It's almost like, watching a young athlete with Olympic potential. You see the raw talent, the drive, but there are so many factors at play.
You never know for sure how it'll all unfold. There's one aspect of Gukesh's story, though, that I find particularly interesting.
What's that?
His rivalry with other young Indian grandmasters.
Ah, yes. Especially with Ramesh Babu Pragyananda.
That's the one. It really highlights, I think, the incredible talent coming out of India right now.
It does. And what's fascinating is how different their playing styles are.
Oh, how so?
Pragyananda, he's known for his aggressive style, very attacking. Gukesh, on the other hand, he's more patient, more strategic, waiting for the right moment to strike.
It's like the classic clash of styles, isn't it? The relentless attacker versus the cunning strategist. Do you think this rivalry, it's ultimately beneficial for both of them?
I do, actually.
Yeah.
Competition, when it's healthy, can be an incredible motivator. Pushes you to constantly improve, analyze your weaknesses, find ways to, outmaneuver your opponent.
And in their case, they seem to respect each other's abilities.
They do. They even train together sometimes.
Yeah.
That shows a real level of maturity. Sportsmanship.
It's not just about winning, it's about pushing each other to be better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But, this rivalry, it also brings up a broader issue, something we should talk about.
What's that?
The intense pressure that these young prodigies often face.
That's a good point. It's easy to forget they're still just kids with all this weight on their shoulders.
It's a lot to handle.
Sure.
Prodigies, they attract so much attention, expectation.
Right.
And while that can be positive, inspiring even, it can also be a huge burden. Imagine being a teenager with the world watching your every move.
I can't even imagine. Makes you wonder how we can, as a society, better support these young prodigies, not just in their chosen fields, but in their personal lives, too.
That's the million-dollar question. There's no easy answer. But I think recognizing that they're still children, that's a good start.
Yeah, they need the same things all kids need. Love, support, guidance.
And the space to make mistakes.
Yeah.
To grow. We can't put them on a pedestal, treat them as, superhuman.
They need to be allowed to just be kids.
Yeah.
Explore their interests, develop their personalities. It's not all about their talent, right?
Exactly. And speaking of exploring interests, there was something in one of the articles that really struck me. Gukesh, despite everything, he has a very normal side to him.
Oh, I like hearing that. What do you mean?
Well, the article mentioned his favorite hobby outside of chess.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me. What does this chess prodigy do to unwind?
He loves listening to music.
Music? Really?
Yeah, I know. You'd think someone with his analytical mind would be, I don't know, drawn to something like more strategic, intellectually stimulating.
Right.
But it just goes to show you, even the most brilliant minds need a break,
To just disconnect.
Exactly, to recharge.
It's a good reminder for all of us, honestly.
It is.
To find those things that bring us joy, help us relax.
Absolutely.
Speaking of passion, though, we can't ignore Gukesh's dedication to chess. I mean, it's clear in all the sources we've gathered.
Oh, yeah. It's undeniable.
He's constantly pushing himself, studying the game, analyzing his mistakes, always seeking new challenges.
And that dedication, that's a huge part of his success. Talent's not enough. You know? You need that commitment, that drive to hone your skills.
You reach your full potential.
Right. And it's not just about natural ability either. It's about the choices we make, the effort we put in, our mindset.
So for someone listening to this deep dive, what's the takeaway here? What can we learn from Gukesh's story?
Well, I think one of the biggest takeaways is balance. Finding that balance between passion and, well-being.
Like with his music.
Exactly. It's okay to step away sometimes, to pursue those things that bring us joy, that help us relax.
It's about finding that sweet spot where we can push ourselves, achieve our goals, but not burn out.
Precisely. And that applies to everyone, not just prodigies.
Whether it's our careers, creative pursuits, or just, everyday life, finding that balance is crucial.
It really is.
And another thing that stands out, I think, is Gukesh's resilience. He's faced setbacks, losses, criticisms, but he never let those things, stop him.
Not at all. He's used them as opportunities to learn, to grow.
To come back stronger.
Exactly. Like that saying, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts.
Oh, I love that quote.
It's so true. And Gukesh embodies that. He's not afraid to fail because he knows it's just a stepping stone on the path to success.
That's a great lesson for all of us.
It is. It's okay to make mistakes, to stumble, to fall. What matters is that we get back up, that we learn from those experiences, and that we keep moving forward.
I think that's a perfect note to end on, actually. Gukesh D's story, it reminds us that success isn't just about reaching the top. It's about the journey, the dedication, the resilience, the constant pursuit of excellence. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to encourage you to think about, your own journey, your passions, your goals, your dreams. How can you embrace the challenges, the setbacks, the triumphs to create a life that's truly meaningful, fulfilling? That's something for you to ponder.